All right, Bills Mafia. I am Eric Turner, founder of Cover One, and it's Labor Day. It's Monday, September 7th, and it's officially the beginning of the season. The Bills face the Jets in week one. So, with the day off and everyone at home and you guys craving content, I wanted to put out something short. We have a bunch of content coming this week. So keep an eye out on all social media platforms, but I wanted to answer some of your questions, maybe get some of your keys to the game. I put up a question on Twitter and I'm getting a lot of response from it. So I do want to, answer some of those questions, maybe go over some of those things that you guys are mentioning. One of the first things that Terry brings is dominating the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Very important. If there's any area that the Jets are really good at, it's on the defensive line, and that's something we're going to cover in the matchup show later on in the week. Motor and Moss, they are going to be interesting combination, not just because of their skill set, but because of their personnel usage, how the Bills are going to use maybe both of them at the same time. Another thing we may be covering later in the week. Elam and the wide receivers connecting. Obviously, that rapport is quite important. Some other keys to the game that were mentioned that I really liked were going old school, winning in the trenches. Yes, that's a big thing. Tom Nazaro says that defensively, we have a huge advantage up front. We got to pressure Darnold and make it difficult for him. Now, that one I really like because in this first matchup in week one last year, Sam Darnold passed it 47 times. So he dropped back to pass 47 times, and he was blitzed 17 out of 47 times, and he went 7 for 14 for 51 yards. So the Bills didn't blitz him that often. And this year, it's going to be a little different with the wide receivers that Sam Darnold has, which lack a lot of talent, obviously. Do the Bills ratchet up the pressure a little more? I mean, I think that's a good question because the only outlet he really has, the only really good receiver that I believe he really has is Jamison Crowder, the slot receiver, and he's someone we're going to cover later on in this week. He's the only real weapon that Sam Darnold has from a wide receiver standpoint. So I wonder how the Bills plan on attacking Sam Darnold this time. Do they kind of lay off and not pressure him as much? Or do they, dial it up a little more and force him to get rid of the ball quickly, throw it underneath, and then rally and tackle, which is really their MO overall as it is. So let's take a look at a couple more questions here. Patrick Henderson says that the right side of the line and handling Greg Williams' array of stunts and blitzes. Couldn't agree more. The Jets and Greg Williams blitzed the third highest percentage last year at 40%, something we are going to be covering also in the matchup show. He blitzed a ton last year. Obviously, the Jets are dealing with a lot of different issues on the back end. There's a lot of new faces. Communication is going to be tested. You saw the Bills go to up-tempo a lot in that first matchup last year. And given how complex and aggressive Greg Williams' defense is, I do think that, that is something that the Bills do have to worry about. And we know that Josh Allen's up or down when it comes to pressure. Either he, throws it away or he tries to escape in the pocket and extend the play, and that's when turnovers happen. So that is a delicate balance, and that's something that Josh did well. I'd say probably the last 3 quarters of the season. The first half of the season, he struggled with turnovers, but he did lock that down and do a much better job as the season progressed. Brandon Howard thinks that the Bills should send exotic blitzes and confusing fronts. Every offensive lineman has at least one player to their side that they have never played a meaningful snap with. Communication is going to be a massive problem. I think that is huge, especially given it's the first game of the year and they haven't played any preseason games. So that I do believe is quite important, and it's coming from a Jets fan. So keeping the boundaries clogged and force Darnold to trust his new receivers over the middle. Again, we just touched upon that. I totally agree with that. Now that Adams is gone, Jared Eichel says that he wants to test that secondary. I completely agree. If there's any game that the Bills should come out firing, it's the first game of the year with no preseason games and a new secondary, a lot of new faces back there. Communication is going to be huge. And I say you come out and you start throwing the ball all around the field and challenge that defensive front. Get them tired. Get them exhausted from having to pass rush every single play. I say you come out and fire on all cylinders. I agree with Jared Eichel on that one. Primetime Poyer says that same thing. Attack their corners and stop the run. That's obviously pretty important for the Bills as well. Get out to an early lead. Make Darnold see ghosts the rest of the game. Zach Degnan, that's a great one. I like that. Rattle Darnold early, get to a quick lead. Totally agree with that. And blitz the heck out of him. Again, I think that is something that should cross a lot of Bills fans' minds. Being aggressive, playing man coverage versus some of the weaker receivers as a unit across the league. I think that's a good strategy by Leslie Frazier and that defense. All right, guys, so we went over a few of the points that you guys believe are the keys to the game. Make sure to tune in for our keys to the game later in the week. We're going to have the Cover 1 matchup show starting this week, and we're going to try to do that every week. We're going to have Nate Geary, Russell Brown, Greg Thompson, Aaron Quinn, and myself doing several breakdowns. We're going to have Connor Rogers on the show, on the Cover 1 Buffalo show. He's going to be making an appearance this week. Week 1 is here, Bills Mafia. We're super happy that you come to us for your Bills information and in-depth previews and breakdowns. I'm Eric Turner. This is Cover 1. Get to cover1.net. We appreciate everything you guys do for us and all of the support you've given us over the years.